citizens and officials wonder what's ahead.
When you destroy your infrastructure, I've seen cities that haven't recovered 50 years later.
I'm Renee Montaigne. We'll bring you the latest news from Baltimore on the next Morning Edition. Tomorrow morning, starting at 5 on WAMU 88.5. I'm Susan Levy. Maryland's governor is promising that Baltimore will not have a repeat of yesterday's riots. Governor Larry Hogan says today was incident-free, but worries about what will happen at night. An overnight curfew will be in effect, and the National Guard has been activated. It was a festival-like atmosphere outside the Supreme Court today. Same-sex marriage advocates and protesters filled the sidewalks as the justices heard arguments. Many there saying they wanted to witness history in the making. The court is expected to rule by June. The United Nations says 8 million people have been affected by the weekend earthquake in Nepal that killed nearly 4,400 people, and that 1.4 million people are in need of food assistance, but the challenge will be to reach them. You're listening to Here and Now.
This month on WAMU 88.5's Community Minute, we're featuring Split This Rock, a Washington, D.C. based organization using the power of poetry for positive change in our communities. Meet Youth Programs Coordinator Jonathan B. Tucker.
DC has an amazing, thriving poetry scene. Kids know what spoken word is. This is the way that we can value young people and their stories through creative writing, through the written word, and then having them get up and perform that themselves on stage, their own work. It's a very empowering experience. And so bringing together students from Northern Virginia, students from PG County, students from Montgomery County, and students from every ward of DC, it's important that they cross these geographic lines and other lines that may divide us, race, class, religion, all these things, and to come together and listen to one another's stories. There's a lot of listening that goes on in a poetry slam, and that is truly transformational and can sort of change the nature of a school or the culture of a community.
More information about Split This Rock is at WAMU.org under Community.
Funding for Here and Now comes from Zillow, with millions of homes for sale, apartments for rent, photos, historical pricing data, and other resources. Available on Zillow.com or on their mobile and tablet apps. Zillow, find your way home. And the Institute of Contemporary Art Boston, a waterfront museum for visual art, dance, music, theater, film, and more. A rotating schedule of exhibitions and performances brings new art and experiences to visitors throughout the year. Learn more at icaboston.org.
It's Here and Now. This morning, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan was at an intersection in Baltimore that was littered with burning cars last night, vowing to not leave the city unprotected. Baltimore already has a curfew for teens. Tonight there's one for everyone, and National Guard troops have been deployed. At least 15 officers were hurt, and the number arrested is now over 200 after police and demonstrators clashed following yesterday's funeral for Freddie Gray, who died of an unexplained spinal injury a week after his arrest. Gerald Stansbury, the NAACP Maryland State Conference president, spoke at a press conference this morning.
Baltimore has a long history of police brutality and racial profiling, and Mr. Gray's death represents another example in a series of tragedies of black lives being lost at the hands of someone in blue uniforms.
The rioting was the worst violence of its kind in the U.S. since the protests over the